Guest speaker is Mr. Thomas Stieger, Investor Relations, Juicy Holdings, Netherlands. Please.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here in Bangkok. It's one of my absolutely favorite cities in the world. I'm originally from Switzerland. We have our holding headquartered in Amsterdam. And my background, maybe a few words to that. I'm not originally from the cannabis industry. I'm, well, Switzerland, I don't make chocolate, no cheese, no watches, so I'm a banker as a profession. And I was leading a private equity company in London for the past 4 years before I joined JuicyFields. For me, it's been a rational decision. It took me a couple of months to make that step into that cannabis industry because it's hard to go back again. So it had to be well thought. I looked at the market, did a research, I looked at the company, and I was convinced that this is the place where you want to be for the coming 5 to 10 years. The momentum in Europe is absolutely right, and I'm convinced it's going to be one of the fastest growing industries overall within the next 5 years, and Asia Pacific is a key player as well. If we look at Asia Pacific, we have currently, or in 2019, we had a revenue in the cannabis industry of about 2.3 billion. By 2027, we are going to expect 10 times more, about 22 billion. And the key driver will be Thailand. So it is of key interest to be here, and we feel very, very welcome to be able to present ourselves here as well. Thank you very much to the organization team as well. Who is JuicyFields? If you're from Europe, you might have heard about us. We have made a lot of noise over the past 2 years. It all started by developing a platform. I'm going to tell more about it. We had like about 25 full-time programmers working on the platform for 2 years. And once we felt safe, we went out to the market. That platform, you can look at it like an intermediary or a connection point between people who are interested in participating in the cannabis industry and farmers, growers on the other side. So we connect them. Me coming from the private equity field, usually the best opportunities and most exciting markets, they don't provide access to the mass. So usually only high net worth individuals, institutional-like clients have access to them to invest and participate. Now, the JuicyFields platform, if you can skip or go to the next slide, is quite innovative. It's a combination of fintech, cannabis, and connecting the growers and the farmers. So anyone who would like to participate in the cannabis industry can buy the service through the platform to buy a plant with one of our facility growing partners, starting from 50 euros. And after a cycle of 109 days, once the flower or the plant will be sold again, the flowers from the plant, the client who bought the service through the platform will get a revenue from that plant as well. We are talking about in the range of 40% return over a period of 109 days. It may seem like a lot, and we get criticized on that in public as well often, but anyone who knows the industry knows these are more than realistic returns. Now, if you can go further, how it works. It's really like a platform on the internet. You can sign up. You select the clones which you would like to invest in. You buy them. You can pay by fiat, like euro, for example, or crypto, the main cryptocurrencies as well. That's quite innovative and also challenging. Then the cultivation partner grows the plant, sells it at the end, and then we pay back a return to the client, the customer who bought that service through the platform. So what we enable is really that even smaller customers can participate in that industry. That in short, and I welcome you to have a look at the platform later on. If you Google like green paper JuicyFields, you get the full description of the mechanics and specifics, how it works. If you can go to the next slide, please. Yeah. It's already outdated. So our launch of the platform was 2 years ago. We have more than 360,000 registered users in the meantime. That's tremendous growth, and in particular, last year it was rocketing like crazy. And we are also very active on all the different exhibitions, mainly in Europe and South America, and this year, for the first time, in Asia, and we would like to find cooperation partners here as well. I speak about that in more detail in a bit. How we operate is we don't build up our own facilities, our own farms from scratch on, due to a simple reason: we don't have the capacity, we don't have the time. And it's just not feasible to recruit enough professionals. So how we operate is we are looking for cultivation partners in first line, and we buy a stake in the company. That can be 10%, 20, 40, or even more. We go up to 70, 80%, but we always want to have the cultivation partner being in it with a certain stake to be motivated and engaged. Having that business model, we can ensure that we are cash flow positive from day one. We have a reduced risk and existing clients. Through our network, we can help the cultivation partner to distribute, sell their flowers, and it's a win-win situation at the end. If you can go. The next slide, please. Yeah. Our goals. So we have different goals, but I would say the main goal is really that we will become, within the next 5 years, one of the 5 key players in the THC cannabis industry. And I'm outlining THC. We are not interested in CBD. We only focus on THC. Why is that? If you look at the CBD market, we can see many countries which are liberalizing the market. And it was always a bit the same procedure. Once a country opened the market, then there was an oversupply for about 3 years. Many new companies got into the market, many underground companies got official, and having said that, only the best ones survive. So you need to have a clear management in place, you need to have efficient processes, you need to be you need to have a good network, you need to be set up very well, otherwise you will not survive, and probably only about 10 to 20% will survive. In the medical or THC market, the entry barriers are much, much higher. In Europe, for example, you need to be licensed. We only cooperate with partners who are licensed, either GACP or GMP. For the ones who are not familiar with it, in short, GACP is the process from seed, from planting the plant, all the way until you cut it, you harvest. And then from there on, it's called GMP. GACP is not that challenging to get it approved, but GMP is a pretty high standard. What does that mean? It means a lot of money to sustain. Those about 2 years until you get the full license approved, and it needs a lot of time. So alone that fact keeps away many new players in the market, and then once you have the license, you need to be profitable as well, and that's where we come to the big players. We know them all, the big ones, especially in North America and the US. And looking at them, I personally have the feeling those are mostly companies being led by motivated, ambitious, upcoming entrepreneurs who have never led the team, never managed the company, and they are not managing their own funds. They get it from investors, and they are just wasting it. So what we do, we try to be very, very careful in the due diligence process to only cooperate with partners where we have the confidence that the management is fully engaged. The management, what we like a lot is the management which started on their own, so with their own funds, and a management which knows every dollar they turn it twice before they spend it. This helps us. It's not the only recipe, of course, but this helps us and gives us security that they will do it in their best way and are able to be profitable. Maybe if you talk about profitability, in Europe, for example, let's say Switzerland or Germany, you are well set up and managing a company if you are able to produce THC per gram in the range of 80 cents. If it's Swiss francs or euro, it doesn't make a big difference. It's the same valuation nowadays. The wholesale price is in the range of 3.5 euros or Swiss francs, and sometimes you get a premium on top for your quality, then it may be even $4, and the end consumer price, it varies. It can go up to 11 euros per gram if you sell it to a pharmacy, for example. Good. The next slide, please. Yeah. Exactly, I mentioned that already. Here a few more figures where we want to go. We can skip those slides. Now, we have been extremely active over the past year in particular, and this year is going to be even more busy for us. So you see some of our investments, and we have done in 2021, and in the first half of 2022, we are looking to reach that figure. We have closed some first deals already at the beginning of this year, and we are looking to close much more deals in the first half. So we are currently in negotiations with about 5 to 8 further partners, which we want to invest in. In first line, I mentioned it at the beginning, we are interested in cultivation partners, farms, but we are open to look at opportunities along the full supply chain of the medical cannabis business, THC only. I mentioned that we are on the market since 2 years. We have now reached the stage where we are growing out of the green shoe option or the green shoe situation. So I think we are now in the transition of being a startup and establishing ourselves on the market. That means as well, we want to provide the opportunity to professional investors, such as family offices, institutional clients, such as pension funds, or high net worth individuals as well. For that reason, we have set up a fund structure. It's under the umbrella of a SICA fund. A SICA fund is an open-ended fund. And under that umbrella, we have set up a sub-fund, an alternative investment fund. And to track the performance of that fund, there is a JuicyFields Pharma certificate. It's an investment vehicle which tracks the performance of the underlying fund. The underlying fund has clear investment guidelines. They are solely allowed to invest into THC cannabis projects, and as JuicyFields Pharma is raising those funds, obviously the allocation of the fund, of the money of the fund, will be allocated to JuicyFields projects only. We are talking and that's very recent news. So the tracker certificate got confirmed this Monday, and we are looking to a subscription period of 1 month for the first tracker certificate, and it's limited to 20 million euros only. And once we complete that fundraising, we can easily copy the tracker certificate again and again and again, and the target is to raise 20 million on a monthly basis. And I think that shows what potential or also power we have to cooperate with increasing or with new companies. We have no cooperation yet in Asia, and we are highly interested in looking at opportunities. So anyone who thinks there might be a synergy, feel free to find a chat with me. If you are interested to follow our activities, you can join or follow one of our social media channels. Besides YouTube and Instagram, also the Telegram group is certainly a good way to inform yourself. I make it short, and for any further questions, please feel free to contact me outside. Thank you very much. Happy to be here.